Let's discuss this and more with George Pascoe Watson, former political editor over there at The Sun. George, afternoon to you.
Ian, hi.
You've interviewed many more Home Secretaries than me. I mean, there's a reasonable list of the ones I've had a powwow with. They've all said the same thing. I can remember a moment with Jack Straw in Portcullis House where he actually stopped off and had a cup of tea with me. Just one of those impromptu moments that sometimes happens. And he was absolutely emphatic, George, that we're going to get to the bottom of knife crime, we're going to stop this, there will be no more, it can't go on, and if you're caught carrying a blade, you're going to jail. It never happened. What's going on here?
Well, as you say, this goes back for many, many years. When I was on The Sun, we were campaigning for all people to be carrying knives to go to jail automatically, and of course the government felt that was too far, the government at the time. Every Home Secretary, every Prime Minister has to try and tackle this. It's a real menace, and you and I are both big supporters of the police service in this country. And of course, I look at those pictures on the Times this morning and what happened at the Notting Hill Carnival at the weekend, and I think how brave it is for our police officers to be out there policing the streets, having to deal with that kind of thing. But we have to bear in mind, it's not just the government that is responsible for dealing with this problem. Part of the responsibility is down to the courts to make sure that criminals are prosecuted, CPS, the police themselves, making sure that they are prioritising these types of crimes over what many of your viewers might consider less important crimes, things like using offensive terms on the internet, and that's a priority that the police have to focus on. It's also in the priority and the responsibility of parents in this country to make sure that they know what their children are up to as far as they can and to take responsibility for the actions. But most of all, the responsibility is in the hands of the individuals who decide to go out of their house with a knife. And we all know that lots of young people in inner city areas say that they carry a knife because they are frightened that if they don't carry a knife, they will become victims. And that is the whole arms race problem that we have in this country.
Absolutely right. And I do wonder when it comes to imprisonment, and I mean, first-time offence of carrying a knife, you don't really go to prison. And we had those stats just a couple of weeks ago. And we covered on the programme that, you know, even people who'd used a knife on 2 or 3 offences still weren't going to jail. And you wonder, George, I mean, is that down to prison places? You know, there must be a point when judges are sentencing people where the message comes down, look, if you can go for a non-custodial sentence, that will be preferable because there's literally no room to put these people.
And that is right, and that is one of the problems that we have, any government has, whoever it's the Conservatives or if the Labour Party get in, it's the same problem. There's a finite amount of cash that the state has, and does it spend money building new prisons? What does that say? And that's a cost that they're not building a hospital in turn for, or a school. So everything is down to choice. Now, it's also down to the law officers in this country to make sure, not just the Home Office, but the Lord Chancellor, to make sure that the judges and the magistrates are doing their part of the job as well, making sure that we have a responsibility and we make genuinely a list of a hierarchy of crimes that we really want to crack down on. Rudy Giuliani was the mayor of New York, much discredited now, but in his heyday was fated for bringing down the crime rate in New York and making it an inhabitable place. And the way he did that was a zero-tolerance approach to petty crime.
Absolutely spot on. Let's move to China. Not literally, of course, I'd rather not, but